Ladies and gentlemen, this is a special announcement from Wales Certified. Bill?
Thanks, Kevin. Before we get started on the actual topic, I'd like to touch upon the fact that there's been a death in the family. And by that I mean the overall St. Louis Soccer family. Mike Collom passed away this past week. Mike was one of the original coaches at Scott Gallagher with his brother Terry, Dan Gaffney, Tommy Howe, and along with Mr. Scott and Mr. Gallagher, they all began the tradition and legacy that exists today. Mike remained to be active with Scott Gallagher and with soccer in St. Louis long after his career was over. So we remember with great respect and honor his memory of Mike Collom, who passed away last week.
Right on. I met the gentleman a couple of months ago. First impressions mean a lot. What a great attorney and a soccer mind that he had.
Yeah, very much so, Kevin. And as I mentioned, the other three gentlemen involved with him and Mr. Scott and Mr. Gallagher, they started a tradition, as I said just a moment ago, that is still very, very active on the St. Louis soccer scene. And they, at the beginning of all of this, literally have influenced hundreds, if not thousands, of young players who have gone on after their respective careers at Scott Gallagher and then St. Louis Scott Gallagher to continue to be influence makers themselves by coaching youth in and around the St. Louis soccer area. So the Collom family and Dan Gaffney and Tommy Howe and Jim Gallagher, all are an immense part of St. Louis soccer.
Yes. I asked Mike to do a podcast, and he was kind of ill a little bit. He's no, I'd rather not. Maybe later.
Yeah, he towards the end he was not doing really well and had difficulty getting around. And a bunch of us met over the holidays. Just people who knew each other, maybe played soccer together, against each other, whatever. Very typical of the St. Louis soccer scene.
Yeah.
We got together, and Mike was there, and he'd gone on to make it easier for himself to get on to a cane. But he said otherwise it wasn't too terribly bad. But he did admit to me that after his early rounds of chemotherapy, that he wasn't really going to go through it again.
Right.
It was just too demanding, and if indeed it was going to help, it was really taking its toll. So he decided not to do so.
Yeah, at that event, I was leaving when you were coming in.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it's that man. All you got to do is mention an Irishman's name, and he knows them.
Yeah. There you go. It's real simple. In my neighborhood, where I played for St. Fulton area, if you were Irish and Roman Catholic, you played soccer. Simple as that.
And that will start us off, Bill.
Okay, sure.
Rest the soul of our Mike.
Yep.
It comes to the deal is that, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know the guy, you've been living under a rock. But this is the official guru of Wales Certified and the SPN ambassador to the world, Bill McDermott, ladies and gentlemen.
Where's the applause, Kev, from the studio audience?
I'm sorry, Bill. I had the mic turned off. All right.
And perhaps more importantly, where is your usual intro, the long-awaited, highly anticipated?
Take two.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited, highly anticipated man about town, our guy, the SPN ambassador to the world, Bill McDermott, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. That's okay, folks. No need to stand. Thank you.
Oh, man. Well, it's that time of the year again, that time of the season, the World Cup season we're talking about.
Yes, not far off, Kev. Starts, first game is June 11th in Mexico at Azteca Stadium against South Africa. And everybody's a little more anxious right now, given what's happened this past week in Mexico. But everyone, including FIFA, all the officers, the officials in Mexico said, don't give it a second thought. Everything will be fine when June 11th rolls around. It's unique that they're playing at Aztec Stadium. Well, not so much unique, but it's a piece of World Cup trivia in that they're the first country to host 3 World Cups, as they did so in 1970 and 1986. Now this will be their third time for Mexico in 2026.
Wow. That was the one was at the place of the header for King Pele.
That was the place for the Hand of God by Diego Maradona. But you also recall that properly, Kev. 1970 is when Brazil won the World Cup, Pelé scoring goals and assisting, and still to this day, many people still recognize the 1970 Brazilians as the finest, the best World Cup team, the best national team ever assembled. And if you look at that first 11 of who they had on the field, it's not too terribly far from being accurate.
Yeah. Mike and the boys, they try to get the unis to look like the Brazilians.
Oh, yes. Tommy Howe was extremely keen on that at the very outset, where you had the yellow shirts, the blue shorts, and the white socks. So even from an immense distance, you knew it was a Scott Gallagher team simply because of their uniform.
Yep. And that comes up, you let it in because you're the pro here, is that you led up to where a lot of distractions before the event. But once that whistle is blown, it's all bets off, get on, you got to prove it. And the whole deal about, I got this, about the World Cup, and you've been involved in many of them and heard about a lot more. But the World Cup, about the ball, about the cleats, about the superstars, about the jersey, and you going right into your wheelhouse. How do you envision a call being that would, that would recognize, that would be the World Cup 2026, that call, that unbelievable call?
Yeah, well, Kev, at this particular World Cup, the call could involve so many different nations. The mere fact that for the first time ever, this is being, as I mentioned, tri-hosted, if indeed that's a word, Mexico, Canada, and the United States, but also the fact that there's 48 nations. This is pretty much unheard of for FIFA and for the usual number of teams, which seem to have worked out splendidly with 32. But as we look at it also, we still don't know some of the teams that are going to qualify for this World Cup. So still a mystery as to some other countries could be involved in the World Cup for that particular call, as you brought it up. There are games on the 26th of March, and then the 31st of March, and then all the groups will finally be finalized. In the United States, as everyone's well aware, are playing against Paraguay and Australia, and they're waiting for a playoff to be concluded between Turkey against Romania. The other two countries are Slovakia against Kosovo. Now, the United States has defeated Paraguay and Australia most recently this past year, and they had a little bit of a difficult time against Turkey, but they were using some really, really young players. And Turkey has one of the world-class young players, the emphasis on youth here, in a lot of these countries for their first 11s. Arda Güler, who plays for Turkey, he leads their team. He's one of the young players to play for Real Madrid. So those are still to be decided. The game's on the 26th and the 31st of March. And then it'll all be finalized, ready for that June 11th opener in Mexico.
Under full disclosure, can you make the Gaelic call if Ireland qualifies?
Ireland still, they likewise still have an opportunity, Kev. They're in Group D. They're in playoff D, I should say. Denmark against North Macedonia, and then the Czech Republic, or Czechia as it goes by now, against the Republic of Ireland. So they still have an opportunity to get involved. And one of the most, speaking of Ireland, Kev, Ireland was in a must-win against Hungary, and they did that. Troy Parrott got 3 against Hungary in that particular game, so they qualified for the playoffs in the World Cup. About 5 minutes into added time, Parrott scored his third, and then Ireland advances to the playoffs. So still an opportunity. And we remember Ireland fondly from the 1994 World Cup in just the 4th game when they upset Italy at Giant Stadium. That's the game that really, for all intents and purposes, really kicked off the competitive atmosphere of the World Cup. And that's where a lot of fans first got the notion and really caught the idea that the World Cup is about a country against a country as opposed to the normal flow of competition, which an American sports fan is accustomed to, a city against a city.
Wow. Is it too much to say you the guru for Wales certified, or should I try to think of another?
I think maybe some others perhaps have advanced to the guru stage. I don't know yet if I am indeed. To quote what Joe DiMaggio once said, "Hey, I'm just a guy trying to get by."
Boom, boom. Right on, man. Right on. Well, there you go. Now we talked about that call because the nations, it's unbelievable. Could you imagine the wires all, with the announcers? Excuse me, I'm going to sit in your lap and announce this game.
Kev, God, you should bring that up because at the various World Cups where I've been involved in announcing, if you're claustrophobic and don't want to be real close to other people, especially other people from other countries, and fortunately you have headphones on because you cannot concentrate when they're announcing for their particular country, and they are literally up in press row. They are literally right on top of you, and obviously there's going to be commentators from everywhere in the world. So it's going to be a fabulous event, gargantuan in size, 11 venues in the United States, and all 11 of those venues are home to NFL teams. And 8 of the 11 will need grass put down on the artificial surface to accommodate the world's game. Now, in Mexico, there are 3 different venues. I mentioned Azteca already, Guadalajara and Monterrey, and then in Canada, Toronto and Vancouver. So 16 different venues, 48 nations, lasting 39 days, 104 games, 78 of which are in the United States. So I think when we first began our podcast, you talked about this being the summer of soccer, and that is truly what it is.
Man, I tell you, this Balloon Boom Studios in downtown Holly Hills is starting to look pretty good.
I can imagine. Yes, indeed it is.
Oh, well, anyway, let me bounce back uh,
Yes,
to
sir.
to that. Do you know of a World Cup ball being, like you all remember those olden days of the World Cup ball? Look at that ball.
Oh yeah, they change every World Cup, and Adidas is tremendously proud of that. Adidas has left their mark on many, many World Cups in the past. And what's really, really shocking, this is almost Armageddon to even make this statement. After the World Cup is over in 1997, 2027, Germany, believe it or not, Kev, is going to start wearing Nike uniforms. That is unheard of for a German team to take the field not wearing an Adidas uniform. But with these new types of balls that are all designed to err on the side of offense, and believe me, every they are totally engineered to bring offense to the game. And as I mentioned, Adidas changes them for every game. And the when you have a dead ball expert on your team, and every team in the world does, that is it's no longer a unique way of winning games. It's a definite way of winning games because everybody has players who can strike a dead ball and they can strike it superbly. Every country in the world has a player like that.
Man, if there wasn't for that leather ball that you used to play in, you would have more goals than Mike Siri.
Whoa. Let's don't go too far here. I I think Mike could have been kicking around a trash can when he had more goals than I
Yeah.
did. Especially just on one Saturday in the schoolyard.
Oh yeah, man. So he,
Siri, that's a twosome right there. Siri and Counts together for St. Louis
oh
University.
man,
Oh my.
I just got goosebumps. Man, yeah. Wow, that was a sight. All right,
Yes,
how
it
about
was.
any special cleats?
Well, and that's another factor of the uniforms being where I guess you could consider shoes being a part of a uniform. They are dramatically. First of all, they are so light you cannot believe how light some of these shoes are. And believe it or not, if you see someone with a pair of black soccer shoes on, you either know immediately it's a coach or an athletic trainer or an assistant coach. Nobody on the field wears black soccer shoes anymore. You name it, they're a rainbow. Pink, orange, lime green, whatever. Everything except black. And under no circumstances will you see a player wearing Copa Mundials, whereas, again, the coach, assistant coach, or referees will still wear Copas.
There you go. And so now you got the inside scoop. Let it out for Whale Certified, will you? About any upcoming superstars that'll shine in the summer '26.
Oh yeah, man, Kevin. There's good. Now, I just mentioned, unfortunately, you won't see one who plays for Liverpool because Ireland knocked out Hungary. Dominic Szoboszlai, you won't be able to see him. But perhaps maybe we should look at maybe Group I, which may, depending upon how you look at things, France, Senegal, Norway. Now that's going to be a match to watch when France lines up against Norway. When Kylian Mbappe lines up against Erling Haaland.
Wow.
Erling Haaland is bolstered by the midfield general for Norway, Martin Odegaard, who plays for Arsenal and grew up in the Real Madrid academy system.
Wow.
And just everywhere, every team someplace. Germany in Group E, and Germany, they always come alive in World Cup time. They have not been very successful in the last couple World Cups. They do indeed want to change that dramatically. Musiala for Germany, I think he's going to be healthy to play. Look at Group G, and we talk about Belgium. I don't think Belgium is going to do anything at this year's World Cup, Kevin, because over the past 2, 3 World Cups, they were talked of having a golden generation. Every country has a golden generation somewhere along the line. Well, that's over. That's over for Belgium. I don't think Holland's going to be able to do much this year. Memphis Depay, I don't think he can. I don't think he can carry the team. Now, a team that may be very surprising. Well, not so much surprising, but with their youth, is Portugal. With Vitinha, Ruben Diaz, Nuno Mendes running out of the backfield from the left bank, Bruno Fernandes, Nardo Silva, and of course their coach de facto, Cristiano Ronaldo. If he just does just a little bit of running inside the penalty area as opposed to standing waiting for head balls to come across, he's going to have to be actively involved. So Portugal could pull some things off, and everybody, of course, is looking at Spain with Lamine Yamal playing on right wing. And Nico Williams, the truth be told, on left wing, Kev. That is 90 minutes in a dentist chair. They have those two players running at you for 90 minutes. And Spain and a goodly number of the pundits are looking at possibly, maybe would like to see, a Spain-Argentina final. A lot of people are looking at that. Another team that's on a dramatic upward trajectory is England. They have been doing well so far. They've been playing very, very good together, and they're led by Harry Kane, obviously, and Jude Bellingham. And is Argentina capable of pulling off 2 World Cups in a row after Qatar? Lionel Messi, I do not think is going to be able to play 90 minutes of every game. I just think that's a given so far. I just don't think it's going to happen. But there's other teams that are getting back into the World Cup that show so much of the cultural diversity. And at the top of the list for avid fans for that diversity of the various cultures is Scotland. They get back into the World Cup after an absence since 1998. And the schedule makers weren't too kind to Scotland, teaming them in a group with Haiti, Morocco, and of course Brazil, looking for a 6-star on their shirt. And if Vinicius Jr. can continue to play like he's playing currently for Real Madrid, if he can bring that farm to Brazil for the 2026 World Cup, Brazil could indeed do some damage.
Wow. Mamma mia, baby. I mean, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And under full disclosure, I seen the video. It was an AI. It was CR7 at the back post. A guy's going to cross the ball, and the lights go out. Yeah. And he made goals after it. He didn't miss.
Well, you have to, when you look at players like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, you have to understand that for the past 4 or 5, the past 20, 24 years, they have been the faces of the sport internationally around the world. That has never happened before.
Never.
No one has caught the overall attention of a world's audience like Ronaldo and like Messi, simply because they've been so successful playing for huge club teams, and now they enter yet another World Cup. Now, this will be their last World Cups. They're not going to be participating anymore in World Cups. But as I mentioned a moment ago, with the young players that Portugal has, if Ronaldo just does a little bit of work off the ball, he still, people will be wary of him in and around the penalty area. Now, like Messi, he's not going to play 90 minutes of every game. That's not going to happen. But the mere fact that they're still around for another World Cup speaks volumes of what they've done for the sport internationally for decades, literally.
Under full disclosure, Bill, Did you call them when you seen them the first time around that they would be such a force, or was it just there'll be a couple seasons and somebody else will take it over?
That's a very, very good question. And to the point, Kev, no, I did not think that Ronaldo was going to score the number of goals he did, and the number of goals he scored for prominent people. Case in point, Real Madrid, he surpassed Alfredo Di Stefano. Now, when you start putting your name in the same sentence as Alfredo Di Stefano, you're a world-class player. And Messi, along with Andres Iniesta and Xavi and Busquets for Barcelona, they were absolutely magnificent. And Messi, he would hang out on the wing, he would get involved, but when they got the ball to him, it was attack, attack, attack. Oh, and he was always looking to work a 1-2, either inside the penalty area, just outside, and he was normally, if he wasn't shooting, he was going to be the player to make the last pass. And if you look at his body of work with Inter Miami, he lies just a little bit deeper. Certainly doesn't do the running he used to, but he's been world class again, like Ronaldo, for literally decades. But I did not think they were going to have the broad, immensely broad appeal that they've had for so many years together as a twosome.
And I gotta know, man. Did you watch DeCefio with the projection on a screen with Denny Cody and my?
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure. We used to go down. Remember, Kev? Well, it was various places. The OTO Auditorium.
Yeah.
When we watched either World Cup games or European Cup games, as they were known at the time, they're now Champions League. But we would watch them on a regular basis on the large screens. I think we did it one year at the Coruscant Room at the Chase Hotel.
Yeah, so you get.
But that was at that particular time, Kev. That was the only way you were getting World Cup games or games of any consequence until networks like ABC started to televise the World Cup, and then ABC and ESPN2, as it got to be later, televised every game from every World Cup, which is what Fox is going to be doing this year.
You got 10 more minutes?
Sure.
Okay. Talking about any of the jerseys, do you envision like a billion person shirts selling jerseys for a particular team number?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are available. You can go to any venue this year, Kevin, at any World Cup venue, United States, Canada, Mexico, and you will be bombarded with the opportunity to buy whatever, but in particular, replica shirts. And a goodly number of the shirts will be highlighted outside the venue where a particular team is playing. For instance, you want a Germany shirt where Germany's playing, you can get a Musiala shirt. And that goes for every venue. Everybody will be well stocked with uniform shirts. So, Vinny Jr., Erling Haaland, Musiala, we mentioned him, Odegaard, Mbappe. All the big teams, all the big players. Harry Kane will sell a lot of shirts, but they will be readily available at every venue. Believe me.
Well, it brings us to that time that, Bill, you're the guy, and I don't know if you did it on purpose or you wanted me to remind you, but is there anything you want to say?
Oh yeah, Kev. We had talked when you first asked me to come on about talking about the Soccer Hall of Fame, which is going to be.
Oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry.
Remember?
Yeah, now I do. Oh my God, so sorry.
Your producer didn't call you.
No. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's going to be next, not this coming Thursday, the following Thursday, March 12th. A new venue this year, Kevin, the River City Casino
Yeah.
Event Center. Doors are going to open at 5:30.
I'm going to try to stay away from the tables.
Yep, and it's sold out again this year.
Yes, it did.
Sold out again, and the program begins at 7:45. 11 individual inductees, and then obviously the future stars. The future stars are Maggie Drozda from St. Joseph's Academy. She struck a great dead ball in the state final to win the state final for St. Joe. And Jacob Phillips, he's from Fort Zumwalt East. He's an all-state and all-metro player. And then as the Soccer Hall of Fame is wont to do to continue the tradition and legacy of soccer, the sport of soccer in our city, the Jimmy Dunn High School Coach of the Year is Bobby O'Connell, who won the state championship for a second year in a row, coaching at St. Louis U High. And the name Jimmy Dunn is legendary, playing for Ben Millers when they won their first championship to really get St. Louis some national notoriety back at the Ben Millers in 1920. Then the Monsignor Jimmy Johnston Award that goes to Dick Westbrook, an absolute icon in the city of St. Louis for the sport of soccer, player, coach, and when he was coaching for various and different club teams, high school teams, he left his mark everywhere. And then the individual players, I'll mention them, I'll do it quickly. Jenny Burton Anderson, Shane Patel, Tim Barra, Jackie Billett, Larry Julius, Johnny Klein the second. Remember, his father played at St. Louis U, and then John Klein the second, his son, played at St. Louis University, the first third-generation family. This next gentleman, Sean McManus, his dad coached me in grade school baseball at Philip Neri. Wow. Irv Pisek, John Stone, Tom Strunk from Worldwide Technology. And here's a great name in the history of St. Louis soccer, Nick Traina, the Traina brothers, Pete and John. What a joy it was to watch them play in senior games down in Heine-Miney against, you name it, Kev, White Star, Cootis, but in particular, when teams like St. Ambrose played Cootis. Oh, man. If there was a time machine, sign me up. I'm going to be the first person to get a ticket to go back and watch it.
Right on. Okay, the producer didn't pay the hamsters, and so we almost got to get going here.
Okay.
So, final thoughts.
Well, I think with relation to what's going on with St. Louis Soccer had a tremendous 2025 with so many various colleges going to the extreme. By that I mean going to playoffs in their the various different facets, various different levels at which they play throughout the country. The club teams still doing just that, the same thing, bringing national exposure to St. Louis. The St. Louis entry in Major League Soccer, St. Louis City, dramatically coming into a new phase of their existence in just their fourth year by getting a new sporting director, a new coach, quite a few new players. They'll be playing this weekend in San Diego. We talk about the schedule makers not being too kind to Scotland in the World Cup. They haven't been too kind to City. They have 5 of their first 8 games on the road, 2 of which are, there's San Diego this weekend, separated by a home game against Seattle, and fly back the next weekend back out to Los Angeles to play LAFC. So we're going to see right away if the new players and the overall new structure for City is going to be of any consequence. But they still continue to have the most novel approach to Major League Soccer in the overall league, because everything that they have, Kev, is concentrated in one centralized downtown area. By that I mean it's unprecedented in the history of the league that everybody has a training site now, practice fields, but none of the teams around Major League Soccer have it all in one downtown centralized area. And therein lies one of the reasons, if not at the top of the list because of the venue, the stadium itself, why St. Louis will be getting Olympic Games in 2028.
I beg pardon. The hamsters are taking out the clubs. I got to get going.
All right, Kev. Good enough. Fun being with you.
Yeah, man, you're the blast. Bye-bye.
Talk to you, Kev.
Okay.
Thank you.